When we carry out observational research in the field, we take detailed time-stamped notes. And it's vital that our notes are detailed and of very high quality to be useful later in the analysis phase. Obviously, our notes are also perhaps going to prompt us to go back and research questions or even ask questions when we're out in the field if the opportunity presents itself. Before moving into the analysis phase, there's an interim step between our notebook and the analysis process where we translate our notes into the digital realm. And we use a process called mind mapping for this. And this is an example of a mind map on the slide. And you see it has multiple branches. It's a tree-like sort of structure for capturing the 4 Ps of what we saw happen. Mind mapping helps us organize our notes using the 4 Ps. And those software packages often allow multiple observers to contribute their inputs to one holistic map, to one overall capture of the observation that we carried out. It provides a great place to also capture questions, and many of them have flags and symbols that you can drop in to enable you to identify things that you want to come back to flag discontinuities, or to identify workarounds, which will be very valuable to do just after you've done the observation, so that later on in the analysis phase, you've got something to look at and go, I remember this, that was strange, why did that happen? The mind map is also a useful medium for later analysis, and they will also export out to other packages such as spreadsheets and written documents. There are many similar mind mapping software packages out there, and they have different licensing options. Some are free, some require a payment. MindJet Mind Manager is a very standard, industry standard. Meisterlab's MindMeister is one that we use a lot in education, and Self-Pompier also have one called MindMup. Most software allows you to share and work on mind maps simultaneously, and you'll notice in this example, this is MindMeister, there's an arrow at the bottom there pointing to the share button, and that enables you to enter somebody's email address, and then you can all work on those mind maps at the same time, which of course is very valuable if you've been standing at different physical locations in the room, or if you have different perspectives because of your backgrounds, and you want to capture all of those perspectives in one big mind map. Typically, we dedicate one arm to each of the 4 Ps in the mind map. In the example that I showed, you probably noticed there's a 5th arm. That 5th arm is what I call profile, and that's just information captured about the time and the day and the date, who was involved, where we went. It's indexing information so that I can identify what this observation was all about, where it happened, and who was there, etc. This is an example of one arm of that mind map. So you notice this is the process arm. It says process on the left-hand side there. And you notice how the observer has included timestamps. And then to the right of those timestamps, linked off as a branch, they've captured what happened. And then in some cases, not all, they've captured an issue or something that struck them as odd, or a question they want to ask. So this is our capture in the mind map of the process. And you carry on to do the whole process from the beginning to the end. You may see multiple processes, and you have multiple mind maps for those. If we dig in very great detail, you can put a lot of information into one minute or 1 second even in that mind map. Notice here, 11:49, the Euro, in this case a urologist, holds the scope up high in the air while inserting it. It's partly overhead, and I go on to describe how he's using his hands, how he's stretching, using his weight, etc., etc. So I'm capturing a lot about just one step. And if you can, put in pictures. Those may be pictures that you were able to take at the time, if you had permission to do that, or pictures that you find afterwards on the internet, which may be useful prompts to products you saw or activities that you saw happen. Because, of course, a picture paints 1,000 words. Use the other arms of the mind map to capture the other Ps, the products, the people, and here's an example of a sketch from a notebook of the room layout. So this is a helicopter view, and also some kind of views of the walls and where things were stored, where people maybe move around, where different items are kept, and where they have to go to get them.